Project 200. Today, Vancouver has a beautiful and accessible waterfront, but it's a shame that an early opportunity to speed up development in the late 1960s failed. I'm biased. Much of the information I have about this comes from my late father, Allan Bonner, who was the general manager of Vancouver's Project 200 in 1968. My early memories are watching him from the public gallery pitch City Council, led by Mayor Tom Terrific Campbell and containing Art Phillips and Harry Rankin. But the project was doomed, despite a pro-development mayor and lots of money. What was lacking was effective public and private administration. Project 200, as in $200 million, was a consortium of Sears, Woodward's, the big Western Canadian retailer, Grosvenor Lang, a British construction company wanting to make its mark in North America, and the Canadian Pacific Railway. The four met regularly, but the general manager couldn't attend. The architect drawing up plans reported directly to Grosvenor Lang, and the general manager was often in the dark. My father didn't see articles of association, or heads of arrangement as the British call them, which may have been a non-binding agreement. So the legal status of the consortium is still a mystery to the general manager. Consortium members owned individual tracts of land and looked out for their own interests. Project 200 acted both for consortium members who were developers and as the developer itself. The city repeatedly asked for revisions to drawings and more amenities. Planners returned drawings asking that they be labeled with the Latin names of vegetation. The British prefer Anglo-Saxon, of course. Drawings showed cars on the left-hand side of the road, as in the UK. It took about 16 months to obtain the development permit for the only building that was ever built. The city sometimes took 6 weeks to respond to submissions. My father had no interaction with the province and just 2 or so meetings with the Deputy Minister of Public Works in Ottawa. All Vancouver MP Arthur Lang and other feds would do is say they might rent office space if buildings were built. Most people in Vancouver are happy that there's still no expressway which exits onto Sears and Woodward's property, as Project 200 proposed. But city planners could have negotiated for a tunnel under Burrard Inlet or public transit to service these sites. Skytrain, perhaps. In the end, one 35-story building was built at the foot of Granville Street and leased to Canadian Pacific. It's an eyesore, blocks the view, and former Mayor Mike Harcourt told me there's a movement to tear it down. There was a pedestrian mall with a view of railway tracks 50 feet below. Special for the tourists. Even consortium members didn't play nice. Construction couldn't infringe on Canadian Pacific land except to sink columns on which to build the building. Some CP railway tracks had to be relocated at great expense. Construction costs went up to counter noise and vibrations from the trains, but some of the prime office space was still noisy and shaky. It's tantalizing to imagine what might have happened in Vancouver with innovative leadership. Allan Bonner said one city councillor, in exasperation over the process, thought that perhaps Project 200 should be sold a development permit for $500,000 instead of having planners second-guess what amenities they wanted. In the end, they never got any anyway. But the permit money would have allowed the city to plan, install, and supervise whatever it wanted. Let's make a deal planning has a bad name, but not making any deal should have a worse name.